Welcome back, Rangers Ed family. I'm your host, Little Ed, joined as always by my co-host, Coach Ed. We're here with you for episode 160, as always, sponsored by Lucarelli Law. If you're in New York or Florida and need some legal advice, reach out to Dom Lucarelli and tell him Rangers Ed sent you. I also want to take this time to thank all of our sponsors, including O'Brien's Bar and Grill, Sorrento's, Old Country Ceramic Tile, Bella Italian Marble, and Suda Sweet Treats for another season and outstanding support over the years. We can't thank you enough. Coach, we took a week off from the pod. The playoffs are ramping up. What you been up to?
Just watching a lot of hockey. Started on Saturday, watched a bunch of games Saturday night. Sunday, pretty much all day. Kathy had a baby shower, so I had the whole afternoon into the evening off, and I just watched a lot of hockey. Very exciting.
Sounds like a great weekend. I myself, I'm a little stuffed up, as you guys could hear, or more than usual, I guess I should say. Spent a nice week with a toddler and a newborn, so I'm sure I caught something. But the exciting part was we went to Monster Jam in Philly for the second year in a row, and I got to see Gravedigger and Megalodon and Thundersaurus and all the other exciting monster trucks.
That's cool.
It really is just like super cool how they do it, like transporting all the dirt in and building the ramps. They take like a halftime and you see all the trucks come out and like rebuild all the ramps and stuff. It's like, it's pretty wild. So yeah, it's just great to see how fun or how much fun Grayson has and how excited he gets. But me and my friend Ben get just as excited. Those trucks are just, it's pretty amazing. It's just outstanding how they do it.
It's a whole nother world.
For sure. So we saw it at Lincoln Financial where the Eagles play. A little bit of a nightmare getting in and out of the place because they only had like one or two entrances open like on each side of the stadium, as opposed to like when the football games are going on, they have like a bunch more ways to get into the lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like everyone was funneling into like one entrance. It was a disaster, but we finally got in there pretty much on time and saw a nice show. It was fun. Good times.
Cheesesteaks?
I did not get a cheesesteak.
No
Ben got some pork ribs from the Amish market that we barbecued up on Sunday.
Ooh.
Watched some playoff hockey ourselves, and had a nice little weekend.
He must be excited. Maybe he'll listen to our episode tonight.
We have some exciting things to talk about with the podcast. Last couple of weeks, we've been talking to, and we put some word out there that we wanted to bring on an intern, or a few interns, I should say, for the summer and beyond, to help us out with the show. Learn some things behind the scenes of Rangers Ed, help us out with clips and stuff. So we're going to be bringing them on in a second to introduce them. But before that, I want to say thank you so much to @NYR_discussion for sending us over some of these resumes, people that were actually overqualified for what he was looking for. So without further ado, let's bring on Nick and Dom and introduce you guys to the Rangers Ed family and introduce them to you guys. So Nick, Dom, welcome to the family, and wanted you guys to take turns introducing you guys and giving us your background and experience and what brought you guys to the podcast. So Nick, why don't you go first?
Sure. Thank you guys for having me. I'm really excited to be able to hop on the show with everybody and get to learn the ropes of everything. I have a little bit of experience working on different podcasts, a couple of my own. I've done a hockey podcast before, but the one that I've done more production on is called the Strange Beasts podcast. If you're a Godzilla person out there at all, feel free to check that out. But I mean, my love has always been hockey. I've always wanted to work in any type of content field relating to hockey. So to be able to hop on with you guys and be able to talk about the Rangers is a dream.
All right, so Godzilla. Did you watch the old Godzillas from when I was a kid, or no?
My host of the show is watching everything. He said that we had maybe after the season that he wanted to do, probably about another 10 years of content that we could get worked out.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot out there.
Those old ones are pretty hysterical when you watch them now.
Oh yeah.
My uncle's a big Godzilla fan. I'll definitely send him your way without a doubt.
All right.
So yeah, like what'd you go to school for? I guess what was your background and what, like I said, what brought you into, or like what made you send in your resume to do something like this?
So my schooling was actually in sportscasting. My main goal is to be a play-by-play announcer for either MSG one day or ESPN. When NYR underscore discussion had posted his thing about internships, I thought it'd be a fun way to be able to get myself into the field or try to figure out how to get the experience. And when he sent me over to you guys, I realized that it'd probably be a lot better for me to be able to get the experience that I want to, because I've thought about doing more of the podcasting area of media. So to be able to see that there were opportunities out there after months and months of not finding anything was very promising.
Awesome, man. Great. So yeah, like I said, we've been looking for people that actually went to school for this type of thing. And just to be clear, before we get into Dom's background, is everyone listening or watching, Mark and Allie are still with us. They're still going to be helping out with the show. It's just, I don't know how much you guys know about running a podcast, but it's not easy. It takes a lot of people behind the scenes, and Coach Ed and I can't do it ourselves. Mark and Allie, they help out as much as they can, but it takes an army, it takes a team, and it takes a village. So that's why we brought on Nick and Dom so far. So Dom, why don't you go next and tell us your background and experience with schooling and hockey and all that good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys first off for having me. I'm really excited. I've always seen you guys on my Instagram and everything. So it's a huge pleasure to be able to be working with you guys. I went to Montclair State for sports communication. I have an emphasis on video production and social media management. So this was right up my alley. When I saw NYR Discussions post, he kind of sent me over. Like you said, I was a little bit out of where I was supposed to be with trying to work with him, and he sent me over to you guys, and I was hooked as soon as I got on talking to you guys for the first time. So I'm really excited. I also played hockey at Montclair State as well. I was a goalie for D2 Acha, so that's club hockey. We played guys like Army, Delaware. So it was pretty good competition. A lot of teams who have clubs for their D1 teams. So it was really fun. I played high school hockey. I've been a Ranger fan my entire life. I grew up a Ranger fan in New Jersey, so I'm in enemy territory. So definitely really excited. This is something I love. I also do a football podcast. It's called Fan Feed Network. So any NFL fans, go check that out. But yeah, super excited to be on, and thank you guys for having me again.
Yeah, we're very excited.
Big news in the Giants world in the NFL, huh?
Crazy. I know.
Did you hear, Bud? They signed Odell Beckham again?
I did. Well, actually, I only saw that they were giving him or meeting with him. Now it's official.
I don't know. From my sources, he signed. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
We trust you, Coach.
All right, Joey.
I don't know if I trust. I don't know if I trust my sources. He gets.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. If I know who you're talking about, but Joey Dollars is. We can trust him with some things we can't. Anyway, yeah, guys, we're very excited to have you. So from what you guys heard from Dom's background, he already gave us 2 sample clips over the weekend. So if you follow us on Instagram. Or any of our socials, I think it was just posted on Instagram, but I'm going to post them on the rest of our socials. That was his work already right off the bat, so we were very happy about that, and they were great clips. So if not, you should definitely go follow us on all socials, as I always remind you guys to do: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Definitely subscribe on YouTube. That's where all of our videos are and our episodes. So and Nick's going to be helping us out behind the scenes. And like I said, it takes a village, it takes a team. We're all going to be chipping in. Everyone's going to be chipping in behind the scenes, and everyone's going to be learning, and we're going to grow this thing together. And we want to thank all the fans that have been listening over the years, and especially this past season. I'm sure it was tough. It was tough creating content, so I'm sure it was tough to listen to. You might not agree with everything we were talking about, but thank you for sticking with us, and we look forward to the seasons ahead, right? So look forward to the off season as well. Coach, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, without everybody behind the scenes and the fans and our sponsors, obviously the show wouldn't exist the way it does. And we've been fortunate enough for going on 6-7 years. But you got to be excited about the Rangers. In the last since the Panarin, we'll call it like AD. Before Panarin and after Panarin. It's
Post
night and day.
Panarin PE.
Yeah, it's night and day to me. And so far, let's see. It's going to be interesting to
Put that
see
on
the
the
summer.
shirt.
What's that?
Put that on the shirt. PPE, post Panarin era, because it's kind of like safety equipment PPE. Also, we can figure something
There
out.
you go. It's going to be interesting to see a couple of moves they might make this off season, how these kids come back in the to get prepared for the next season.
Yeah,
I'm
so
excited.
hopefully,
I'm
as the
excited.
we kind of started this podcast right during COVID, right? So that was before, I guess, like that was letter 1.0. That was when they were retooling and rebuilding the first time. And we got to see the team grow to some Eastern Conference finals and President's trophies and things like that. So hopefully, as our podcast continues to grow, we'll see the team grow again. I think this is kind of like a turning point in the show, just like it is for the season, or for the Rangers, I should say. And I'm really excited about it, and I hope you guys are too. So with that, we got a nice we're throwing them right into the fire to test Coach Ed and I. We decided it'd be cool to revisit some ex-Rangers that are currently in the playoffs, doing a blind rankings. So Dom, Nick, and actually Coach Ed did a lot of it. They put together a list of all the ex-Rangers that are currently in the playoffs, and Dom and Nick are going to take turns giving us one, and we're going to blind rank them the best we can to put together the best team we can. Coach, you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Alrighty. So we got first off the Rangers ex-captain, Mr. Jacob Trouba, now in the Anaheim Ducks.
That's a good one because Coach Ed and I are big fans of Troubs. We were pretty upset when they traded him.
So what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do?
So a little bit. So I'm gonna give you a name. You gotta rank them 1 through 5. So
Of all the Rangers that are playing now.
Yes.
We don't know how many or who he's going to give us next. So we want him to be ranked at the end of this, like pretty fairly. Like
Right. So if I have someone in mind, I got you. Okay.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. So for Trouba, I think we got to. I don't think 5 is a good spot for Trouba at all. But I also don't think like he should be very high. I'm thinking like a 3 or a 4 for Troubs is good, because we got to leave that 5 spot for someone like not so great that they're going to throw at us, I think. But we can't rank him too high, because even though he was a big part of those Eastern Conference Finals runs, it's hard. What do you think? 3 or 4?
I'm
Or
going to
higher.
go with, I think we should go with 4.
Okay. 4, lock it in.
All right. Next up, we got Matt Zuccarello, now playing for the Wild.
See that? That's a high one. I was thinking Zucky. I was like, I hope they give us Zucky. I might go 1 hit here with Zucky. I know he missed game 2, but his game 1 performance was outstanding. And when he got traded, that really hurt. And he would be awesome on the team now.
I mean, I agree. I'm going to say
1 or 2
you
for
want
me.
to go. Yeah.
It's hard because is anyone on that list that we put together before the show any better than Zucky? I'm not sure. I don't think so. I'm not going to look. I'm not going to cheat. I'm trying to remember.
You got Brett. I say,
Come on.
I say 1. Go 1.
Brett's history in the playoffs. Come on.
Yeah, I say go 1.
That's why I reserved the number 5 spot.
Well, look at it this way. Zucky, the opening game he played, he was in on what, 3 of the 4 goals he was all part of, and they won.
Yeah.
He didn't play last night, and they lost. So I'm going with. I say 1.
Prone. He's out a lot.
Yeah, I say 1. He's very significant for them.
All right, lock it in 1.
Alrighty. So next up we got Stanley Cup champion with the Vegas Golden Knights, Brett Howden.
Ooh. What did we give Trouba 4?
Yep. Which is where it gets tough. So we got 2, 3, and 5 left.
You got to go with 3.
3? So we're keeping 5 open.
You're keeping 5 open for Keandre.
Well,
All right, 3.
if that's how it's locked in, next up you got Keandre Miller.
There you go.
That's fantastic.
Good shout, coach.
5 without a question. That's awesome. Locked
I
it
mean,
in,
I
5.
watched him last night. I'm not noticing him really out there with glaring mistakes. So, but I'm not noticing him making any good plays either. So he's existing, in my opinion, but nothing earth shattering, no game changing plays or anything that I noticed.
All right. So,
So I go with 5.
Yeah, your number 2 spot would be the Breadman, Artemi Panarin.
All right, whatever.
He got the power play goal. He is significant on their power play. Again, 5-on-5. When you get the playoffs, 5-on-5 is so physical, he just becomes invisible. When he gets the space on a power play, that's where he shines. There's no doubt about it, but
That's
there's nothing more you could say. His offensive ability is a number 2 spot for sure, but I don't think we did that bad.
No, I think that's a great list. What we have: Zuki, Breadman, Howden, Trouba, Keandre.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Pretty
you
solid.
guys know. I don't know if you guys noticed, but did you watch any of you guys watch the Minnesota game, the first game when he played?
I watched most of it. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
On the one goal, he made a play where he didn't touch the puck, but he literally held the stick of the guy that was going to go at. I think Hartman was the winger. He just held the guy's stick for a split second, like put his stick on top of it and hooked him. And it gave Hartman that 2 seconds to make that cross-ice pass, and they scored. It was just a little tiny thing that he does all over the ice, all those little things. It was just crazy.
Yeah, it's
I love Vicky.
I love watching him play. And Stepan was on Spittin' Chicklets.
Oh, yeah?
When was it? Yesterday? Whatever. And he talked about Zuki. And Yanda was his teammate too, so they both talked about him.
I don't understand why they got rid of him.
His stick used to be even longer. He cut it.
What?
Yeah. Just funny.
He's like the wing in bubble hockey.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got. I already gave you our list. Shout out some other ex-Rangers that are in the playoffs. Obviously, we got Kreider. Dom. Who else we got? Dominic. Who else we got on that list?
Oh, we got Mr. Nils Lundqvist, who is on the Dallas Stars.
Colin Blackwell's on there. Frank Vetrano. Couple Rangers legends out there.
Did
McDonough,
you
who
see
we mentioned.
Blackwell's hit last night?
No.
Yes.
Oh my God! Google that hit. An open ice hit at center ice. And the guy was like a head bigger than him, and he just freaking laid him out. It was like I didn't even realize it was him until they were going after him. But he's a penalty killer. He's a penalty killer, and you got to give that guy credit. He came up with the Rangers like on a PTO, and he just took off. He made himself a little career.
Yeah, he plays hard. The problem is with Coach, guys, is he wants to keep everybody that he loves. It's real hard. But no, Zuki's one I definitely can't argue with. He'd be awesome on this team. And imagine him on some of those runs, too, on those teams.
Yeah.
He'd be great. So, yeah, good call on the Zuki. I was hoping you guys gave us that one. I mean, other than that, Kreider's a big shout. I couldn't stay up for the late game last night. I definitely want to try to watch one of his games, or at least one of them, in this series. Who else did we get?
McDonough? Did you guys say McDonough?
Yeah, McDonough's a big one, man. I can't believe he's still doing it at the level that he's doing it. Blocking shots, penalty kill, 5-on-5, everything. Not so much power play, obviously, but the rest for sure.
Jack Roslovic. We talked about him earlier in the day.
Yeah, Roslovic hanging in there for the Oilers. Were you able to watch that game last night?
I didn't.
No,
I did not.
Yeah, those are tough, man. 10:30. I mean, come on.
I tried.
That's
I
a
watched
lot.
a little bit. Well, I was actually flicking back and forth because the two games were overlapping. What was the second game?
Was it
The Wild were overlapping, and I really wanted
Yeah.
to watch the Wild because they're my pick to win it all. So I was watching them, and then I fell asleep. But it was tough. It's tough. It was 10:30. It was 10 o'clock, and I was still watching 2 hockey games.
Yeah.
Did you guys see what happened in the Carolina game with the challenge goal?
I didn't.
No. Oh wait, yeah, I heard it all day today.
Carolina scores the winning goal with I don't even know what time it was, and like a third of the people left the stadium. Ottawa went to the locker room. They announced it on the. I'm watching the Minnesota game, and they announced it on the Minnesota game that Carolina just won.
Oh,
I
wow.
flicked back to see the other game because they were switching games on ESPNU and by. And they challenged it. They had to come back out of the locker room, but like a third of the fans left the stadium.
That's crazy.
Jesus.
And they won the challenge, and they ended up going to another overtime. It was
pretty wild.
offsides.
Yeah, all these playoff series have been crazy. I mean, we'll get into it later with the series predictions. But it's so hard to pick these series. As I told you guys, I was with my friend Ben over the weekend. My friend from college. We met on the hockey team, obviously. So big hockey guy, Flyers fan, and we were just saying like every series, like that Buffalo game was insane. Like I thought the Bruins had that game no problem. We were about to turn it off and like wait for the next game, and then all of a sudden they came back. That was crazy. I feel like every series is just a toss up. Honestly,
Yeah.
even like the Colorado one, I feel like anything could happen.
I mean, look, Carolina last night, they were dominating. It was 2-0. And all of a sudden, Ottawa scored, and then they were on their heels.
Yeah. Well,
And
like
Freddie
I said,
Anderson doesn't play well on his heels to me.
we'll get into the series predictions later, without a doubt. You guys have any other Rangers you want to bring up, or ex-Rangers, I should say?
Yeah, actually, since we were talking about Buffalo and Boston, he's hurt right now, but should be back by the end of the first round. Let's talk a little bit about Sam Carrot.
Oh,
Yep.
Sam.
One of Coach's favorites, without a doubt. Yeah, man. He's going to be missed. I know you guys watched a few of our episodes prior to this, but we were big on keeping him around the trade deadline. It was tough to see him go. He's a really strong center and probably should be a fourth line player on like a Stanley Cup team, but like he's one of those guys that could play up and down the lineup, you know. If you gave us him in the blind rankings, that would have really thrown a curveball to Coach, without a doubt.
I mean, you look at him.
He's players like him are valuable. I'm sure Coach is about to say it. Go ahead.
He's a prototypical playoff player, man. If they get him back in the lineup, they're in a lot better shape because that guy just does it, whatever needs to be done. And if you guys noticed, I'm watching, and again, I was big on these middle round draft picks excelling. Most of the games, it's not the superstars aren't scoring. It's all these third liners, fourth liners on Carolina. Well, the second line's doing really well, but it's like every team, it's these lunch pail guys are digging in and they're just getting it done. It's exciting. That's what it takes. Got to have him, but we'll see. I can handle Laba being a fourth line center, that's for sure. If that's how it goes.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, that was it's fun. It's fun watching these guys for sure in the playoffs because it's just how hockey's supposed to be played. You know, everyone regular season's great, but you get down to the playoffs and you really see the importance or like what the game really boils down to. So yeah, guys, with that, let's get into Coach's Corner and take a quick break.
Hey everybody, Coach Ed here. I'm over here in the shop at Bella Italia, Marble Granite and Quartz, picking up my order for a nice little bathroom I'm doing. I've been a contractor almost as long as I'm a hockey coach. So listen to me when I tell you, when you want the quality work and craftsmanship, come and see the boys over at Bella. They serve all 5 boroughs, Westchester, Long Island, all the way out to Montauk. Whether you're a Ranger fan, Islander fan, Devils fan, they're going to take care of you no matter what. Make sure you give them a call, 516-561-1018. Let's go Rangers.
All right, boys, bring it in.
Shout out to Bella Italia Marble as always, especially for helping us or allowing us to film that commercial at the store. So, Coach, what do you
I
got
went
for
and
us?
went and saw the boys the other day just to say hello. I had to put in an order, and everything is running smoothly over there. So get over there and check it out when you're in the neighborhood and you're ready to plan your kitchen. Couple interesting things with the playoffs, I guess. Let me look at my notes here. I don't know if you guys have been watching. Like I said, I watched a lot of hockey over the weekend. The Sabres game, they're losing 2-0. They have this great season, and we complain about the Garden and the Ranger fans booing and all this nonsense. They're booing the Sabres halfway through the game because they can't get the power play going. Booing the Sabres. I mean, this team gets to the playoffs. All the hype on Instagram and on ESPN about they haven't made the playoffs in 12 years or 15 years, whatever it is, and they're booing they're booing the team. It was like I could not believe it. Then they come back and win. I'd be like giving the fans the finger. I'd be so pissed off, you know. It's like give them a lot of credit for having to deal with that stuff. That's I don't know. To me, it's disheartening. I don't know your guys' opinion, but
I was thinking the same thing. It was like what was the first time in 14 or 15 years? Either way, it's a long time. And they're booing 2 periods in. It's like you can't even give them game 1 to get adjusted.
yeah.
You know?
No one on the team's got playoff experience. Very few guys, I should say, and they're booing the team. It was I couldn't believe it. But anyway, I mean, good for them. I love Lindy Ruff. Kind of got ran out of the town with the Rangers. A lot of people didn't like him as the assistant, blamed the defensive stuff on him a lot. I love him as a coach, but I like most of the old timers. So, the second little tidbit I got. Did anybody see the Tampa game?
Yes.
This drives me crazy. We do a drill coaching. It's a 3-on-3 drill. We flip the puck high in the air. And how many times do the kids, instead of trying to reach with their hand, they go to whack it with their stick like well above their head? And I blow the whistle a lot of times and I scream or I make them give up possession because it's so – I know it's a reaction – but it's so ridiculous. And you see what Getzel did in the was it over? No, it was the end of the game.
Yeah. I believe it
wasn't overtime, I don't think. I mean, why do that? Why first of all, if you hit it in the net, it's well above your head already. It's not going to be a goal.
Yep.
Why do that? And then take the penalty and lose the game. And that's a veteran. That's I know usually it's a reaction thing.
Very clutch guy in the playoffs, and like towards the coaches thing is like Coop said it. That was like one of the biggest things or main thing he said in the playoffs, just like or in the post game, is like just stupid mistakes. You know, like as a coach for us too, it's like if you're down a man the whole game, it's impossible to get certain players. I mean, Tampa thrives on having the 4 solid lines and grinding you down, right? Like any other successful playoff team should. And if you're not able to get into that flow with constant penalty kills and just silly mistakes and silly penalties, makes the coach's jobs very hard, you know, in something like that.
And I think Montreal was already like 2 for 2 or 2 for 3 on the power play, and you give them another chance in a tie game. It just was like, you know, and like I said, that's a veteran guy, international experience, the whole thing, USA guy, and just freaking you're giving Montreal the chance to go up in the series, like in a tough series. I don't know. That was just you might expect that from a rookie or a third or fourth liner who's just crazy, who's just a physical guy, not a great skill guy. Cooper must have just like wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
But
the other note you had here, what?
I got one more note. Actually,
the one I wanted to highlight was playing outside your comfort zone that you had.
Well, I was watching a couple of interviews, and I mean, it's not a thing that's new, but like I know a lot of players. It's hard to handle a player. Like a lot of players, especially these days, the younger kids, they have, I've talked about this a lot. It drives me crazy. They need to be coddled. They got to baby them through. Is everything going okay? I get it. I get this, a lot of issues and there's a lot of tough things, but they're 19, 18, 19 coming into the league. But all throughout hockey, like a few of my players have complained over the years, especially at the college level. And again, don't forget, most of these guys coming into the NHL are the best on their team throughout their career as a youth and going up. So they expect to be, let's say, babied, whatever the word is you want to use. And a lot of times, part of coaching is to know which buttons to push. Like that's what makes Tortorella successful through all these years. A lot of football coaches. It's all psychological games in baseball, every sport. And I think it was Marty St. Louis had the quote, his job is to push a player so hard. And even Herb Brooks, you go back to 1980. Why did he make him do all those sprints? Because he wanted them to suffer and make them have to play with that weakness and push them outside of their comfort zone. Yeah, everybody could be open ice skating on a 2-on-1. It's la-di-da, but who's going to grind it out in the nitty-gritty game with the game on the line and play right? So he wants to push you through that comfort zone. Sometimes they might be screaming at you like he did in the locker room in Miracle, the movie. So that's the Marty St. Louis said, that's my job, is to push him out of that comfort zone so that when the time comes in the playoffs, they're going to be able to handle it. It's going to react. It's not going to be a fear. It's not going to be anything like that. So I think that's what we're seeing a lot, because when you saw these playoff games, the physicality, I say it every year, is just insane. That game last night, that Flyers-Pittsburgh game, I don't know if you guys watched it. It was the most, I don't want to say most physical, but it wasn't a good hockey game for a period and a half. There were no odd man rushes. It was just a constant scrappy battle. I think the shots after one period were like 5-2 or 5-3. It was just a choppy, chippy game. And you got to be able to play through that. So a lot of players don't understand what the coach is doing, and they get very hurt. Some of them get it and they thrive, but most of them, that's why a lot of guys say, trade me to this team, I want out of here. But it's just a factor that they have to deal with and learn, I think.
Don, what kind of experiences did you have with your coaching throughout the years, and especially in ACHA club hockey at the end there?
Yeah, so I had a couple coaches. I actually had two in college, and very different coaching styles. My first coach was a goalie, and he actually played with Cam Ward when he was in juniors. So he had a lot of experience with high-level hockey. So that was very like Coach Ed is saying, like that hard, knowing what buttons to push type of coaching. And I think that's especially good for playoff hockey. And not a lot of players can survive that. For lack of a better word, but it's definitely very selective per team. Like some teams can't handle that. Some teams have a lot of finesse players. Some teams have a bunch of, I like to call it Matthew Kachucks on their team that are all around hockey players, just not good in any area, just really chippy, tough players. So I definitely see what I like that style a lot, because it's tough love, but at the end of the day, you get results out of it. And I also had a lot of coaching on the other side of that, where he's friendly with all of us and he's kind of like, our buddy, and that's great off ice, but it's hard to differentiate on when you're playing too, especially in high pressure situations. So there's definitely a difference, and you see it the higher you get up in each level of hockey.
How was that goalie coach? How was that the coach that was the goalie? How did he handle when you were playing? Like, because you don't want to know how I talk to the goalies.
No, I actually I was a freshman, and I think I was a sophomore when he coached. So I definitely didn't. I wasn't given any unearned chances. At least with the least said about it. But yeah, I wasn't given a lot of chances that I didn't earn. It was tough love. Like he gave it to me and he gave it to me straight. And I think that's, it sucks here in the moment, but when you overall are done with your career playing, you appreciate that because he was very real and he was, you need that. You can't be coddled through playoffs. Coddling doesn't, like you said, I don't think that wins anything.
Yeah,
well,
I'm glad you mentioned.
Go ahead,
Coach. Yeah.
No, go.
I'm glad you mentioned like the other side of it of like being more friendly, I guess, because Tortorella, Coach, you see any of his quotes recently after all the success he's had in Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
He was
I
saying
saw a
more.
couple, but go ahead.
He keeps saying more so that he's like a guidance counselor because like coming in that late in the season, you don't want to like mix anything up. Like sometimes you and I have to be like, all right, like don't flood them with too much information type of thing. Like especially in some of like the off ice meetings and stuff, the attention span's not there. But this team's already like a veteran team, Vegas. So he kept saying like, I'm just a guidance counselor. I'm just here to like give them confidence again. So he's more being just like that friend, not a friend. I don't think Tortorella's ever going to be someone's friend per se, a player. But you know what I try to say? Like, so how do you feel about that side of it?
I think it's great because, like I've said that for years, at that level, the talent is there, and like you said, they've been playing together. That team's been a unit for a core for probably 4 years or so with Eichel there. They don't need to be taught anything. They know what to do on the ice. He needs to manage the bench, match lines, get guys out in certain situations. Maybe switch up a line here and there when the game's not going right. That's what he's got to do. He's not going to teach a new system with 8-10 games left in the season or whatever it was. It's just not going to be successful. He just needs to, I don't want to say pat them on the back, but encourage them, push them in certain situations, get the right guys out at the right time. And obviously he's undefeated since he's there. So he's doing the right thing. If Minnesota doesn't win, I want Torts to win another one just to shut everybody up. So,
well, I think, I mean, you said it best with the first example is like pushing the right buttons. And I think the second example is the same thing. You're just approaching it in a different way, right? So that's what coaching's all about, is pushing the right buttons. Nick, do you have anything to add, or Coach, you got anything else for us?
More so with the Torts thing and everything, there wasn't really much that he needed to change besides the lines when coming into Vegas, because that was the biggest thing. Cassidy just kind of had everybody anywhere he wanted to try to create any type of chances anywhere. So he really just needed to figure out where these guys were going to gel the most to be able to get the best out of them at this point.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
He's doing good.
That's something to add with the chemistry, and that's another thing. Basically, once again, pushing the right buttons. That's it.
Yeah.
Good
And
stuff.
I think the big thing is communication too. I'm sure Torts learned over the years, all these years, that let the guys know what their spot is and push them. I mean, I'll get into two more situations that I noticed. First of all, with the Flyers, watching the game last night. You talk about buying in. Michkov was the man there, the up-and-coming star. Now this kid, what's his name, Martone?
Martone, yeah.
Did you guys see his first goal last night, the game winner?
Yes.
Not last night, no. I saw the snipe on.
But I wanted you to see it because I was going to ask you the question, why did I love that goal so much? Anybody?
I don't know you that well enough, Coach, yet.
You're going to learn quick, bud. Don't worry. The puck comes off the defenseman's skate. He comes on the weak side. Instead of turning to his forehand and ripping it into the open net, he literally just shuffles it in hard backhand into the open net. Most players, I would bet 8 out of 10 players, even in the NHL, would have turned their body to fire that puck in.
Yeah, someone did it. Someone did it recently. What game was that? I forget, but someone did it. I think it was actually Tage Thompson in the Buffalo game. He turned his whole body to shoot a forehand instead of the backhand.
And did it go in, or did the goalie save it?
No, I think that was one of them when they were pushing that to tie it up. and I said it. I was like, he should have shot that backhand. It might not have been him. I don't want to sour his name because he played outstanding, but it was definitely someone in one of those games. And very similar thing. I was like, you should have shoveled that in backhand. It doesn't have to be perfect. And Ben and I said, shout out my friend Ben again, that Martone goal, the snipe off the crossbar in the game on Saturday, that was like not a fluttering puck, but like a knuckle puck. Like 9.9 times out of 10, it's not going to be a perfect shot in the playoffs. It's always like these bouncing pucks, fluttering pucks, just get it on net. I mean, Dom, you know, as a goalie, like the least amount of time or the less amount of time you have a chance to set up, right?
Yeah.
Is the harder it is for you as a goalie and the easier it is for a player to score, you know? So
Definitely. Yeah, 100%.
that's what we always tried to teach our players. It's never going to be that perfect shot, but obviously with Instagram and all that shit, you want to be on the highlight reel with the perfect soft shot, I guess, if you want to, like the perfect like disc, whatever you want to call it. But it's never going to be that way. Very rarely. What else you got for us, Coach, before we get into our serious predictions? I'm excited.
All right, the last well, again, getting to coaching with Tortorella and the whole situation. Look at Tocchet. He comes there and he tells Konechny, you're going to be the fourth line center. Here's the captain. Same situation as Jamie Benn at Dallas, the same thing 2 years ago. Has to relish his role as a fourth line penalty killer, eating up minutes type of player, and he takes it and he just does his job. And Michkov so far responded to being demoted to the third. Let's call it a demotion to the third line. You know, with the new kid coming in, going right onto the first and second line because he's succeeding. So that's a big thing. You know, these guys' egos are crazy, but when they buy in, that's when you get the success. So it's important. But the last thing I just want to say is that opening fight with Brady Tkachuk and Mark Stahl, Jordan Stahl. I got mixed emotions about that because I love the fact that, you know how I love like in the Four Nations when they just started it off, but I'm looking at a playoff game. Ottawa, another team, they snuck into the playoffs last year, didn't go far. They kind of snuck in again this year. It was a battle. They got in. They're playing the first seed, right? Carolina's the first seed in the East.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it. He wants to set the tone, drop the gloves with the other captain, but he's like arguably their best player. So for the first 5 minutes of the game, he's not playing. So to me, it would have been better for him to be playing those 5 minutes, throwing the 4 or 5 body checks and setting a tone instead of that. I mean, that's how I look at it. And again, I love him. I want him on the Rangers 100%. But they didn't even start him last night because he didn't want him. I mean, I don't know what happened, but they didn't start him. But I don't know. That was like, to me, that sets the tone and that takes him out of the game for the first 5 minutes. That's a tough one. What do you guys think?
For me, I just wish it didn't have to be him. You know, I think that's the glaring thing is I agree with you. Like, you don't want a player like him out for the first 5 minutes of the game. I could see if they got beat up the first game and then he wanted to do that the second game. You know what I mean? But the first game, you're sitting out for the 3 seconds in. So the first 5 minutes of the game, he's out of the game. Yeah.
Now your legs get a little cold. You know, you got to get yourself back in the groove. And I kind of think it was a mistake on his part. Hopefully he learns from it.
Yeah, Jordan Stahl was the one who called for it, I guess. He wanted to set the tone also. He said we're going to go at some point. Might as well get it over with. So it's hard to say no to Jordan Stahl at the same time, but my point is, like, that might be Ottawa's not downfall, but you got to find someone else that could do that if you want Brady Tkachuk out there, you know. But that is the type of player it is, so it's in a weird situation. You know, that's what he does bring to the table. You know,
I didn't know that Jordan Stahl said that, so maybe that was smart on his part
to take Jordan out too.
No, you could live without Jordan Stahl in the game because you got Aho. I'm not saying he's not a big part, but you got Aho, you got what's his name, Jarvis, you got Svechnikov, you got guys that are gonna move. You know what I'm saying? So maybe it was smart on Jordan Stahl saying, "Let me get him out for the first 5 minutes, and we could set the tone."
Well, Jordan's the top shutdown guy still.
Yeah.
So he's playing against the other team's top line, which is also Brady Tkachuk. So it all kind of washes
situation.
out in the end, I think. So, but I mean, with that, we can kind of get into our series predictions, and we might as well start with that series, right? So let's do it.
I mean, at this point,
What?
yeah, definitely.
So let's do it. We want to do our little series predictions. Like I said before, I'm going to try to be or act off as like nothing has happened so far without any input of what has happened so far in these games. But it's kind of shaken out a little bit the way, or at least leaning towards the way. There's a few series that have surprised me. But yeah, let's start it off with Carolina and Ottawa. I'll kick us off. I mean, I was going back and forth with this one. I tried not to bet with my heart, if you will. If Ottawa loses, that means Brady Tkachuk might want out of Ottawa. That might mean New York or the Rangers might get him, or there might be a chance of him getting him. But at the same time, I would love to see Ottawa Carolina get upset in the first round. But I think I got to take Carolina. They're already leading 2-0. I know it's been tight. It doesn't really look like 2-0 on paper, or if you actually watch the game, it's 2-0 on paper. But I'm going to have to take Carolina. I think Ottawa's going to fight back a little bit and maybe take the series to 6. Coach, what do you got?
I would say at best it's going to be 5 games. I don't see Ottawa coming back from this.
Nothing?
Yeah, I don't think so.
All right. Dom, we'll go around the horn here, counterclockwise.
Yeah, I'm also thinking Carolina. I don't have a lot of stock in I'll take it from a goalie's perspective. In Linus Ullmark, he's been kind of up and down. It's either his night or not. So with that team around him, I wouldn't trust him. I'd say Carolina. I do think they're going to give a fight, but I say Carolina and maybe 6.
Well, sorry, Nick. Before we go on, I want to ask you about Freddie Anderson as a goalie, because I haven't talked to a lot of people about this. I mean, I have zero faith in him. They do have Bussy, right? Is his name as their backup?
Yeah.
How do you feel about Freddie as a whole in his career, or like you think he's going to stay healthy?
So the interesting thing about him is his playoff experience is obviously with him with Toronto is practically non-existent, and he was thrown into Carolina where it's a very at the time they were just starting to get in the playoffs more. So he's up and down. He's an older guy. I like him fundamentally. I don't know if anybody saw his save the other night where he like stretched across and made like a crazy save.
The one that got reviewed?
Yes, yeah. I think everybody thought it went in. I do think that he's solid enough to start. I personally like Bussy more, just because I think he's a little more younger, a little more modern. Freddie Anderson's more that like butterfly, like Lundqvist type of style. But I do think for at least the first round, he'll be solid. They might do a thing where they did a couple years ago. I don't know if anybody remembers, but they might do a thing where they switch out a couple guys. Like I think it was either last year or the year before, they switched up Pyotr Kochetkov, I think his name was.
Yeah.
And they kept kind of switching him in and out. So definitely a lot of injuries with Freddie Anderson as well, too. Just something to look at.
Yeah, Carolina's got that team is like, as long as you get a solid performance from your goalie, they have a good chance to win. So I'm with you. I did hear on the radio today. I mean, you guys will learn. Coach Ed and I are big on NHL Network radio. We bring it up a lot. But I heard today that I think they're playing Thursday and then Saturday afternoon. So they might give Freddie the game off on Saturday and that afternoon.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, so Nick, go ahead. What's your prediction?
I'm pretty much in the same boat as you guys right now. I don't think this Ottawa team is really going to be able to stand up to just the experience that Carolina has. I mean, us as Rangers fans, we've seen this Carolina team pretty much a decent amount within the last couple of years. So, I mean, I think I agree with what Dom said. I think they're going to give a little bit of a fight in talking about Ottawa, but I don't think they have the components right now to be able to make any kind of deep playoff run, especially if you look at some of the other series and the teams that they'd have to play against. So I'd probably say Carolina and probably 6.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They didn't blow them out. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to I just think they're going to win the series in 5. I don't think it's going to be like 2-3 more 5-0 games. I think they're going to fight hard. And I get your point on Olmark, but he played outstanding yesterday. That game could have been 5-0 very quick. But
yeah,
that's a tough. That was it was an overtime game.
Yeah, just like any other series we're going to talk about here, it's going to mostly come down to goaltending, or at least in maybe round 2. But let's stick it to that lower half of the bracket there, and let's head into Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh versus Philly. Let's go the other way now. We'll start with Nick on the first one. What do you got for this series?
I actually, and when I tell people this, they kind of look at me like I'm crazy just because of the people that Pittsburgh has with Sid, Gino, all them. I think Philly has a much better shot at winning this series than a lot of people give them credit for. I think,
especially now,
yeah, after seeing what it's been like. But I mean, I think the system that Tocchet has in place over there in Philly is really good for what the playoffs are, where the refs aren't really calling as much. They're letting the boys play. And they just play that gritty defensive style that you need for the playoffs. I mean, they're not going to put in a lot of pucks, but they're also not going to be letting in a lot of pucks. So you got that nice, decent balance, and you're seeing it up and down the lineup with everybody that they got. So I'd say it probably goes 7, but I wouldn't be surprised if Philly was able to pull it out in maybe 6.
So you were saying this before the series started, just to be clear.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Don, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm a Philly believer too. I like the Philly defensively. I feel like they have a lot of good pieces everywhere. I know Pittsburgh's kind of the team to beat in the series, but I kind of agree with Nicola on everything, and that Philly's kind of got that dark horse energy.
They're feeling it right now. Yeah, they're feeling it. So what do you got? How many games?
Man, I probably say I think it's going to go deep. It might go 7.
All right, I'm with you. Go ahead, Coach.
Well, I'm going with 5 games again. The Flyers are going to win it in 5. I just watched that game. I didn't watch the first game too much, but that game last night, they had no answers for the physicality. Pittsburgh had no answers for it. And that goal that Tippett dished on the 2-on-1, like I said before, there weren't a lot of odd man rushes in that game, especially in the beginning. But Letang is just they just don't have. I think they're just aging out.
Yeah.
Sid did okay, but he was kind of invisible in that physical game. I'm not saying he shied away, but they took him out of the game. It's not the Broad Street bullies from the 70s, but they're playing that style that Tocchet wants them to play, and I don't think Pittsburgh can handle it. So I'm saying 5 at best.
Yeah, well, I'll round it out. I'm gonna stay true to what I was saying beforehand, but I'll adjust my games because of how the series is going. I'm gonna stick true with Pittsburgh, and I'll say they pull it out in Game 7.
Wow.
You can't rule out Crosby and Malkin with their experience. They're gonna empty the tank. They're gonna do whatever it takes at least to win this series. Might be a question mark how much they have left to go deeper than that, but it's going to be tough to see Crosby. I don't think it's going to happen of them getting quote unquote embarrassed in 4 or 5 games. I think it's going to go at least 6 or 7. So I'll make things interesting and go with Penguins in 7.
Even Carlson was getting beat.
Of course Carlson's getting beat. What are we talking about here?
But they were another team. They were 0 on the power play.
Yeah.
0 for 5 or something.
Well, you got to think that that's where Crosby and Malkin, players like that, they're going to figure that out. At least by the next game, I would think.
That's why I'll give them a 1 game.
Don't get me wrong. It's just I'm never going to rule out Sidney Crosby until he retires.
No, I don't. I agree with you with that, but I don't see it happening. I think the Flyers are just on a roll. But who's next?
It's going to take some outstanding goaltending. Everything's going to have to line up, but they're at least going to make it interesting.
Want to make Ben sweat a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's stay in the East here. We'll go up into the top half of the bracket here. We got Tampa and Montreal. Montreal's leading the series 1-0 right now. like Coach Ed was talking about in his coach's corner. A little bit of an odd game coming from Tampa with some undisciplined penalties, which is uncharacteristic from them. Let's go back around the other way now. I'll lead it off. Actually, let's go with Coach first on this one. Coach, what do you think about this Tampa and Montreal series?
All right, I saw Boyle on NHL Network. They were saying Hedman's skating, but Cooper said he's not coming back this series. I don't see them pulling the series out. That first game, they had no answer for that guy. So how do you say his name? Slafkovsky.
Yep.
He's a big forward. Even McDonough had trouble with him. I don't see them coming out of this series. I'm going with Montreal in 6.
Interesting. I'm going around counterclockwise here.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I think the Lightning are too playoff experience for this. I think Hedman being out is really, really bad for them. I also think this series goes deep. I think they get into 7. I just think they're too experienced. They're gonna come back.
I'm with you there. Nick?
Yeah, I'm actually more on the Montreal side of this. I think with the way Slafkovsky's been playing, even coming out of the Olympic break and in the Olympics, we saw how good he was starting to become. I think he's going to be able to help with this this young Montreal team. And then once they get back into Montreal after playing the 2 games in Tampa, they're just going to be able to ride that hype train through and really feel that energy again. So I think Montreal would probably take it in 6 if I had to say.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I'm a huge Montreal believer.
Fair enough. Yeah, they're looking real good. And a lot of people would argue that Gordon should never have been fired from the Rangers. But that's besides the point here. But I'm with Dom. I'm going to go Tampa in 7. Kucherov and those guys, they're just going to turn it around and bring it back to the coaching. Unfortunately, St. Louis has a little bit to learn here, and I think Coop will come out on top in terms of out coaching them a little bit. So yeah, I'm going with Tampa in 7. Last and final series in the East, we got Buffalo and Boston. Dom, why don't you take us with this one? Buffalo is leading the series 1-0. We talked about it before with the late comeback there. But who do you have?
Yeah, I love Tage Thompson. I'm going Buffalo all day. I mean, I feel like they've been out of it so long. You got to root for them. But I also believe that they're such a solid team, all around, really good hockey players. Nobody good at anything specific, but just a really solid team, great chemistry. So I think they're going to pull it off. I think they're going to overpower Swayman and the Bruins. And I'd say maybe 6 games.
Yeah, they were looking real good in that game. Even when they weren't even when they weren't scoring, they were still piling it on there. Coach, what do you got? We're going to think that way. Yeah, we're going clockwise this time.
I'm going to go with the Sabres in 7. My belief is that their defensemen are just a little bit bigger and stronger. I don't see Boston's team. I don't see Charlie being able to carry the team on his back alone without the cast. And Pasternak didn't do that great the last game. I think these guys could all come back, but I'm going to say 7 games. I think it's going to be a tough series. I got to give a lot of credit to Swayman. He really played some game early on. He was making some saves, but we'll see what happens with that. I'm going 7. Sabres.
Yep. Yeah, I'm up here, so I'm going to go Buffalo in 6, pretty much for all the same reasons. But before we move on, Coach, I wanted your quick opinion on Dahlin versus McAvoy. A little bit of like an old school throw it back to when we used to do the Norris watch. You get a chance to watch Dahlin much, or maybe focus on it and come back?
I saw him live. I went to that game live. My big thing with McAvoy is, like I said, I learned watching him live that he makes the right plays, but he's not a game changer to me like Makar, like Dahlin. These guys move the puck well and, skating ability wise. And I just think Dahlin has that little bit more skill, walking the line on offense. The foot, kind of like Quinn Hughes, not quite as good as Quinn Hughes skating wise, but a good skater. I just don't see McAvoy like that. He makes the smart plays. He makes the percentage plays, and he's more physical for sure. So 2 different styles, but I got to give Dahlin, he's going to be more offensive over the course of his career than McAvoy. As far as scoring.
Yeah, it might not be a fair comparison, but Darlene's got that grit to him also. He might not be throwing that like open ice hit like McAvoy threatens to do, but he's definitely going to get in your face and get in the corners and maybe even fight. Nick, what do you got for this series? Right, you're the last one for this one.
Yeah, I agree with Coach in saying Sabres in 7, but the only reason why I say that is because you can't rule out one of the hottest teams coming out of the Olympic break. I mean, if you just look at this whole season for Buffalo, they were down near where the Rangers are, or were heading into it, and everybody was starting to write them off as maybe getting close again, but not really being able to get over the hump. And they proved that it's not even so much a coaching bump this time with having to fire somebody and bring somebody else in, but their GM bump after firing Kevin Adams. I think this team just has a much clearer headspace. They're more aware of what they need to do to be able to get their job done. And I think they're just going to, like you guys have all said, overpower Boston and just keep on rolling.
I think the only game they won in the first 10 was against the Rangers.
I wouldn't be surprised with the way that season went, but yeah.
I remember them beating the Rangers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. I wouldn't be surprised either. All right, let's head across the bracket here to the West. Maybe start out with a toss-up here with our number 2 on the blind rankings, Artemi Panarin series. Colorado's leading that series 1-0. I guess we'll go back to me starting it off. I got to go Colorado. I don't know if LA is going to squeak one out here. I'm going with a sweep. Colorado's going to sweep them. Might get an overtime game here and there, but I don't think LA's got much of a shot here. Coach, what do you think?
I agree with you on the Avs definitely winning, but I'm going to give LA one game. I'll say it's in 5.
Okay.
Again, I talked about it before with Panarin. He's just not a. I want Kopitar to have a good last season, but I don't want Panarin to win.
Yeah. Dom, what do you got?
Yeah, I've got Colorado in 5. I think the goaltending from Colorado, Scott Wedgwood. I don't know if you guys saw on number 1 on Henrik's Hankings, I think on NHL Network. Yeah, I mean, but he's been great though. That whole team is just fantastic, and they might squeak one out, but I'd say Colorado in 5.
Nick?
Yeah, no, I gotta go with a sweep here. I mean, LA came into this with the least amount of regulation wins. I mean, take away the loser point and the overtime losses, and they're down near the bottom of the league and the conference with Vancouver. As much as I love some of the guys on LA, I don't think they deserve the spot that they got. So I got a clean sweep going through for Colorado.
Roger that. Sweeps for me and Nick. 5 games for Dom and Coach. Let's go over to Dallas and Minnesota. The series is currently tied 1-1. Who went first after me last time? I think it was Nick. I don't know. Whatever. Nick, you go first.
All right. I think this is probably one of the more even matchups in the West. I personally am going to say I think Minnesota finally gets out of the first round for the first time in a long time, but it's definitely going to be a 7-game battle. I think Dallas can get a little shaky at times in their own zone. And if you can start getting Ottinger off his game, you can really just start rolling from there. So, yeah, I'm going to have Minnesota in 7.
I agree with you a lot there. I'll just round it off, and I'll say Minnesota in 6, though, to change it up. I think Dallas is going to get in there once they start losing another game or two. I think they might start to fall apart, so I'll go 6. Coach, what do you got?
I have the Wild in 7. I think it's going to go 7. If you guys watched anything watched the game anything at all yesterday, Ottinger played off the charts.
He did.
At least 3. What do they call it? Goals above expected days. whatever,
It was against-
whatever
yeah.
the hell the stat is. Yeah, he played really well yesterday. He was on. He was square to the puck a lot, and I don't know if that could last that long. So I'm going to say 7. I don't know if it could last a series.
With you, Dom, round us out here.
Yeah, Ottinger's so solid, but I still have Minnesota in 7. It's just going to be getting past Ottinger, and I think it's going to be game to game whether they can get past them, and I think it's going to go back and forth, just like the first 2 games are. So yeah, I'd have it for the Wild take it in 7.
Roger that. Another similar one. I'm the only one that took it in 6. You guys got them in 7. All right, other half of the bracket, other side of the bracket here. Vegas, Utah. Vegas is leading 1-0 on Utah. Exciting game 1. Vegas ended up coming out on top. We had some death threats at the end of the Vegas game on the other from who was that? Nick Dowd on
Nick
some of the
Dowd.
Utah players.
Yeah,
Thought that was a little over the top, but hey, setting the tone early for game 1 and scaring all the youngins over at Utah. So that playoff experience. Coach, why don't you start us off with this one?
he must have watched that Brett Hull podcast because the one guy, no, wasn't it Pronger was saying that? Pronger was saying it on one of the podcasts when he got hit. He's like, "I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you." And the guy would let you feel like the rest of his career that he had to look over his shoulder. But I just think Vegas is way too strong. I mean, they have a good team. Utah, it's great to see them in the playoffs. But I'm going to go Vegas in 5. I just think they're too strong. Too much experience.
Yeah.
As long as Stone plays, he's a big part of their lineup. I'm going to say Vegas in 5.
Gotcha. What do you got, Dom?
Give me Vegas in 4. I think it's going to be a clean sweep.
Another sweep.
I can't see them losing. I just think they're too strong of a team all around, offense, defense, goaltending. They look shaky at times, but they always rebound and finish games strong. So I have Vegas sweeping.
Wow. Nick?
Yeah, I got Vegas in 5, maybe 6 if Utah can really pull through. But like we were saying before, with having Torts there and everything, just trying to get all the guys together and be able to gel. I think a lot of these guys have played together for enough time to be able to just keep rolling over Utah. But if I'm a Utah fan, I wouldn't be upset with that result. I mean, they were able to make it in their second season, and they'll definitely be back. So I'd probably have Vegas in 5 or 6.
Well,
5.
I got you, man. Yeah, I mean, Dom, you make some good points there. I'm gonna roll with you. I'll go with another sweep, Vegas in 4. I was gonna go 5 until you talked me out of it there. Utah's a very exciting team to watch. Coach Ed and I are technically still on the wait list for season tickets in Utah, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, they're exciting, and like you said, Nick, they're gonna be an up and coming team in these next coming years, and very exciting to watch for sure. But it's not their time yet, and Vegas is gonna come through. And I said in my little, I'm doing like a playoff fantasy league that last couple of years with some of my college friends, and I said in that group chat that there's 3 things certain in life: death, taxes, and Mark Stone's back being ready for playoffs. So he'll make it through, and Vegas will roll through this series. So I'll roll with Dom and go Vegas in 4. All right, last series, Edmonton Anaheim, 1-0 Edmonton right now, and the Oilers' first game or first win of the season, where McDavid was left off the score sheet, which is pretty crazy. I think they won 42 games this season, and McDavid had a point in all of them. And the games that they lost, McDavid didn't have a point in. So that's pretty crazy. But they ended up winning this game over Anaheim. Dom, I think you got to go first to round us off here.
Yeah, call me crazy. I don't see Edmonton winning. I see this going to 7. Draisaitl's still out. I don't know when he's coming back, but with him out, it leaves a lot on McDavid's plate, and obviously he's left off the score sheet the first game. The goaltending is terrible in this series. They had a pretty decent game last game. It was a high scoring game, lots of shots. but I don't see the goaltending saving this. I think both teams are gonna it's gonna be a shootout each game, and I think it's gonna go back and forth. So give me Anaheim in 7.
Well, I don't mean to call you out or anything, but Draisaitl did end up playing in the game.
Oh, he
in the
did?
first.
I
apologize.
thought he did too. I was going to ask that, but
It came down to very last minute, but he ended up playing. He had 2 assists, no goals.
Oh, okay. My
Yeah.
bad. I read something that he wasn't playing.
All good, man. We're a Rangers podcast. So you have Anaheim in 7.
I do, yeah. Anaheim 7.
Cool. I like the ballsy call there. I like it. Nick, who do you got?
I am actually going to agree with Dom. I got Anaheim in 7 too. Edmonton's just played a lot of hockey within the past couple of years. I mean, back-to-back Cup finals. Some of their guys played in the Olympics, so they were flying overseas. I just think it's going to be too much, and I think Anaheim has a solid group. I mean, we know a lot of the guys. We watched a lot of the guys, loved them. But yeah, I just think it's a matter of who's fresher at this point. And with a lot of guys on Edmonton having played in Cup final the past couple of years, I think they're just I think they're going to fizzle out after a certain point. So I got Anaheim in 7 as well.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I love it. Unfortunately, I don't know. I'm going to have to just stick with Edmonton with this one, especially with Draisaitl being back. McDavid's not going to be held pointless in every game. That's without a doubt. And I just think he wants it too bad, no matter how bad their goaltending is, or whatever the rest of their team is. They did it without him in game 1, but I was feeling this way before the series started. It's just hard to beat that guy, man. I'm with you guys. I hear you. Trust me. I wish I had the balls that you guys have to pick them, but I'm going to have to go with Edmonton in 7. Coach, you're the last but not least. Round us off for the whole series predictions.
well, I don't think the Ducks have a chance against Edmonton. And if McDavid didn't score and they still scored, that's showing you that they have a team that's possibly learning something about not relying on McDavid as much. Maybe they woke up a little. Maybe they're trying a little harder in the playoffs, but I'm going with the sweep in this game.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't see the Ducks. I don't see the Ducks having it.
All right. Love it. I love we agreed on a lot of series. We were close on a lot of series, but there's a lot of parity, if you will, as well. So there you go, fans. Those are our round 1 predictions. We'll come back with an episode, I'm sure, around the time of round 2. So with that, let's discuss a little bit of our upcoming pod schedule. So yeah, I mean, we still want to do a little bit of a playoff preview. We have EJ Radic on the hook. We haven't reeled him into the boat yet, if you will. So I might have gotten a little ahead of myself saying that we were going to have him on next week or whenever I said it. But we are going to have him on soon to get his thoughts on the playoffs so far and who he thinks he might win. Maybe we'll get a pick out of him or two. And then following that up, we still want to do our Rangers regular season wrap up with Johnny Laz. As of now, we have him scheduled for next week, but these guys are very busy around this time of year. We can't thank them enough for even responding to our messages, and we're trying to get them scheduled. So fans, be patient with us and follow us on all of our social medias, and you'll get the announcements as soon as we hear when we get these guys scheduled. So like I said, we're super excited for the off season here. A lot of news or a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to be happy about. But for now, let's enjoy some playoff hockey. Nick, Dom, thank you so much again for joining us and joining the team. We look forward to working with you guys. And yeah, thanks again. I mean, we put you on the spot a lot here. The blind rankings were great, and all your series predictions seem to be pretty well thought out and very well said. So you guys are going to fit in great over here, and we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
likewise.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Great job, fellas.
Yeah, so I think that pretty much wraps it up, guys. So thanks again. Fans, thank you so much. Our sponsors, I mentioned you guys in the beginning. Thank you so much for another successful season. We look forward to continuing to work with you guys in the off season and next season as well. So yeah, as always, let's go Rangers. Let's go
Rangers, Ed.
Let's go Rangers, Ed. And I'll say let's go Minnesota. You guys want to add any?
Ditto. Let's go Rangers. Let's go Rangers, Ed. I'll root for Minnesota. Yeah, it's my prediction.
There you go. Love you guys. Love you fans. See you next week.